It's great to have you again back on our channel. My name is Amara.
And my name is Gospel.
If you're new to our channel, can I ask that you kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you know when we put content out. To all our returning subscribers, it's always a joy to have you back.
Today I'm super excited for us to talk about principles of love in marriage.
Wow, amazing. Now, this is not set in stone, right? Because you're listening, we're here to give you like boom, 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 principles of love in marriage. Well, these are some ideas, something that we feel in any relationship. If you imbibe or if you take on some of the things that we're going to be sharing with you today, it's going to be super helpful. The first thing we want to start with, or did you want to start?
Yeah, I wanted to, but
Okay.
you can go for it.
Okay, the first thing we wanted to start with is never question the intent of your significant other or the nature of your relationship or the relationship itself.
Yeah, just because you were experiencing, tough times in your relationship or things are not working the way you intend them to work, does not mean that your relationship is hitting the rock. It could mean that both of you are trying to adjust. You're trying to understand each other depending on the phase of your relationship. It could also mean that you're in a season of your relationship. So when you start questioning your relationship or questioning the person who is in love with you, that creates an opportunity for you to, change your feeling and your perspective towards your relationship and that other person.
Let me state that whoever you are in a relationship with has got good intentions. And that's something I want to put out there, because a lot of times when you begin to question the other person's judgment, and there are ways to do this, but not in I don't like this or I hate this. That in itself is a red flag in a relationship. So you are bound by a deep love. No matter what happens in this relationship, we're going to stick through it together.
And when you stick through it together, you will definitely weather the storm.
True.
The second point is don't focus on changing your spouse. Don't focus on changing your spouse. Some people get into marriage, even before marriage, you're seeing red flags and you're saying, well, when we get married, I'm going to change him or her. That's effort in futility, because you can't change someone else. You can motivate someone to change, but it's up to that person to take on that responsibility of changing his or her attitude.
Yeah, indeed. I think this is one of the hardest principles in relationship, especially for people with very strong, powerful personality, people who are very competitive in nature. It's difficult because you have a very strong or high standard that you do not expect that your partner will be wrong. Okay, so you're always like, it has to be right, it has to be done my way, it has to be done in a certain time. The truth is that you cannot change your spouse, because this can only create bickering, arguing, constant, it's like a vicious cycle. You keep going on and on. And the fun that you're trying to create, it's no longer there.
Yeah.
This is not an effective pattern in any relationship.
Exactly, because you're trying to make that person meet your expectations, but the person is not. And I would say you might need to moderate your expectation. Maybe your expectation is too high. Expect that with time, you guys will blend and the person will change and become better.
True.
Yes.
Now, this leads us to the third point, and that is do not get stuck in a repetitive pattern. This is very difficult for people who like order. People who like, I have to be up at this time, I have to do this at XYZ time, I have to, the thing is, you are in a relationship with somebody else and that person would definitely not be like you. And let me just say that we all have patterns. Everyone has got patterns, not just those who are very organized or super organized. We all have patterns, okay? But it is very important that we don't get stuck in that sort of pattern. It is good that we have patterns. It helps save the brain of, decision-making energy. That is amazing. But being stuck in that sort of, I have to do it a certain way, then that's kind of going to be a problem.
Very true, because flexibility is good. For instance, my wife likes things to be done, set in order. But sometimes I could be the, make it a bit flexible where it doesn't always have to be
You're using
that
a good
way.
word. Flexible.
But flexible,
Messy
yes.
sometimes.
Sometimes you're working, you're trying to finish something before you start putting the house in order, okay? But then that should not create reason for fighting, arguing. And when that pattern of fighting, arguing is there, you need to disrupt that pattern.
Yeah.
If you notice that there are key issues that have created arguments over and over and over again, you see that pattern happening.
Yeah.
Don't let that pattern happen.
Yeah.
Find a way to disrupt it.
Yeah.
It could be with a joke. It could be with I'm sorry. It could be with doing things differently.
Yeah.
So that pattern doesn't repeat itself.
Yeah. So your actions, your perceptions.
Positive actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's get to the fourth point, and that is
Never threaten the
your
relationship.
relationship.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. You want me to go?
You can.
Some people do that a lot. A little thing.
I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
I quit.
I leave you.
Yeah, you're like looking for every excuse to say what? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
I think that is something quite strong emotionally to put on another your significant other when there is an argument and the first thing you say is I don't like it here, I'm going elsewhere.
Yeah.
You are in this relationship for something more than the argument in itself. And I think that when people make such statements, they are actually focusing on what is happening and not the fact that I need to make sure that we feel good to be together.
Yeah, because your relationship is for life. Until you see that, you wouldn't, give it your best shot to ensure that everything works out well for both of you.
Yeah.
If there are issues, deal with the issue. It's not about running away. There are two ways people deal with issues.
True.
Fight or flight.
Or flight, yeah.
And we will say, don't fight. Don't fight your spouse. Fight the issue. Deal with it together rather than walking away. And when you do that, you also weaken the level of trust your spouse has for you, in terms of you being committed to the relationship for a long time. It creates that fear. What if she leaves? What if he walks away? And when that fear is not there, there are some decisions the other person would want to make. Say, no, how am I sure this is a lifetime thing? Maybe I should be a bit conserved in terms of what I do and how I do it.
Yeah, I think it's very unhealthy.
Yes.
For any relationship, it's really, things happen, right? We all have a phase where we have to navigate uncertainties in our relationship, but we shouldn't always, state that we have to quit the relationship. Because, like you said, it creates an avenue for lack of trust. So, how am I sure that this person will stick with me through the odd times? How am I sure that he or she is going to be there when things are a bit unstable? Because you're constantly saying it when you have to face weather a storm. So rather than doing it together, you're like, I'm out of here. So it doesn't show that you're very committed to that relationship.
Yeah. And the other thing is that your spouse would be the person that can make you feel hot, feel bad, because when you're in close proximity, there is the tendency that actions or inactions can hurt each other.
Yeah.
But that is not a reason to quit, because we've always said that your relationship is more important than whatever is happening in your relationship.
The fifth point to note here is commit to learning, unlearning, and relearning in your relationship.
Yeah.
Growth is essential. It is the most fundamental to human needs in terms of the fact that you have to commit to constant learning, reinventing yourself, and making sure that there are things that might not be healthy for your relationship. Hands up, give it away. Take on things that are healthy for your relationship. And maybe you just have to learn something new, right? Challenge yourself. Because remember that you are in this together for the big and for the long haul.
Exactly. You might say, oh, I love you with all my heart. I love you. But you don't know how to love the way your spouse intends to be loved.
Yeah.
So you need to commit to learning how to love your spouse his or her own way, because love is what we do, not just what we say.
Yeah.
As much as you say it and the complementary
Actions.
response or
Yeah.
outcome is not there, it means you need to change things. Learn to love. Speak your spouse's love language. You would enjoy your love life for it.
Yes, you will enjoy your love life for it. Let me say that this is not just going to help your relationship, it's
Yeah.
going to help your life.
Because you would
Entirely.
enjoy it as well.
Yeah, because the thing is, in life, we have to learn, we have to unlearn, we have to relearn. Because, we say these things and we're saying in your relationship, you have to learn, you have to unlearn, you have to. And people just think it's all about the relationship. No, it's all about the life. It's
Yeah.
all about, think about the fact that we all need to develop a
Yeah.
growth mindset.
Mindset.
Constantly being aware of, what am I doing? Am I doing it right? Not by me, but am I doing it right by him? Am I doing it right by her? And that's really important that we
Yeah.
put ourselves in that sort of mindset.
Yes. And we are committed to personal development. That is why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
Yes. Another point we want to put across to you is find a way to always appreciate and compliment the wonderful, the fantastic and unique aspects of your life partner.
Yeah.
Yes, don't always look at the negatives. Yes, they are there glaring at your face, but there are positive things about your spouse you can actually highlight.
Yeah.
Pick one at a time. Maybe today you say, oh, what is that good thing about my spouse? And compliment him or her. And tomorrow you say, what is another good thing? Have you ever made a list of all the positive things about your spouse? Or do you have a list of all the things he or she is not doing well?
Yeah.
You might know it, but it's one thing to know it, and then it's another thing to let your spouse know that I appreciate how wonderful you are. My son used to say, his mom is the best cook in the world. And that's fantastic.
Yeah, that is.
Yes.
That is. Let me just state here that I know that men they really love to be appreciated. They love it, right? I'm not saying that women don't, but one of the
do as
they
well.
do, but one of the things that we love, and I speak for myself, right? And please let me know if this also applies to you. For women, they want to be understood. Because a lot of times we feel that we are misunderstood by you guys.
Oh.
You don't get us sometimes. Like, you feel like, oh, this one is too complex, right? And it's just that, no, I'm not. It's just that you don't understand me. You understand what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
that's why
right?
I said before that we need to engage in unending learning.
That's
You
true.
learn your spouse. Because if you don't know your spouse, you wouldn't actually love your spouse the way he or she expects you to love him.
That's true.
And while you're doing that learning, find the good things about your spouse. Like, my wife is pretty, she's beautiful.
Oh,
It's one thing to see it, is one thing to know it, but then it's another thing to always say to her, you are the most beautiful person in the world. So think about your spouse, find the things you like about him or her that actually brought you guys together. Because there are things you saw that made you reach out to him or reach out to her and accept to be married to him or her. Compliment those things.
absolutely.
Yes.
Your relationship will thrive. The seventh principle that we think is really important in any relationship is never compare your relationship to that of others. Your relationship is unique to you, right? Your husband or your wife is unique to you. Comparing your relationship to others is like having a formula for disaster. I cannot overemphasize this. Like, who loves it? Even when it's even positive, sometimes it's a
Yeah.
bit like difficult to take that on. And it's not something you want to do. Sometimes it's hard to prevent it because we get into that mode where we're constantly trying to judge, oh, this person is doing this or that person is doing that. But this would not help your relationship in any way.
Yeah.
Everyone is always putting their best foot forward, especially on social media, in the public. A lot of people are putting all of that. But remember that there are quite a lot of things that are behind the scene. Another thing to also mention here is that sometimes you're comparing yourself to a relationship that is in a different season, right? So probably they are in their summer season, and maybe you're in your winter season, and you're like, look at them. You don't know their journey. You don't know what they've been through, right? You can get inspired, but do not begin to make comparison with saying, oh, that's not happening in my relationship. Oh, my wife isn't doing that. Or my husband isn't doing that. That in itself is a recipe for disaster.
Yes, our idea about this is that rather than compare your relationship to those of others, what you do is have a vision of how you want your relationship to be in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and look at where you are at the moment. Compare where you are now to where you want to get to, and think about what can you do to close the gap.
Sure.
That way, you're comparing yourself with yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes, maybe you're thinking about more of comparison in terms of whether to compare yourself with others or not. We talked about it in a previous video we called Positive Comparison in Relationship. Maybe you can check it out.
Yeah. We'll put the link somewhere there or there. Yeah. We'll put the link.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the eighth thing we want to talk about is remember that all upsets are a function of not meeting another person's expectation. Yes. So when there is conflict, it's not about the person, it's about what the person expects from you.
That's true.
You come into marriage with your expectation. The other person comes in with his or her expectation based on mindset, what they've been exposed to, background, they are thinking about marriage and all of those. When that happens, you come into marriage, what happens is, if you don't meet my expectation, I'll feel upset.
Yeah.
It might be minor expectations, it might be major expectations.
Yeah.
Once you don't meet those expectations, I feel upset. Feeling upset does not mean that I don't value you. It's because you don't meet my expectation. But then what do I need to do? Resolve to have a moderate expectation so that when someone doesn't meet those expectations, you don't feel frustrated.
That's true. Let me add to what you've said. It is really important that you desire to value your relationship above your expectations. I think this will set things straight, really.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
it is about your relationship. It's not about what you expect.
want, yeah.
It's not about what you desire, but it's about what do I desire for my relationship, and what's my other half, my significant other, what do they desire in that relationship? The ninth principle is it is very important to reinforce your connection by asking yourself or setting down some family rituals, okay? What do you do by yourself? What are those sort of positive anchors, okay? As a family, what are those annual traditions, as a family? Because every family has got one, and you need to put that in place because this is something that everyone will be looking forward to. This will help to create some deep connection, with your other people in terms of, yes, I'm going to do this is certain, and yes, this will give an opportunity for us to rejuvenate, reignite, what we really share. And it could be little things, it could be big things, but basically you're doing these things because you want to do them together. You want to stay together. You want to be able to have something to look forward to, something that helps to create some sort of stability in your relationship.
Yes.
It could be a getaway, it could be, say, you have like a 1 day a week date night. It could be in-house date night. It could be just going on a walk in a park or something. It's just something that you spend time and you look forward to doing together.
Definitely. Don't want to talk more about that because obviously we've done some videos on how to set up date nights. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah.
You can do it at home. Just the planning, that's what makes it work out. The 10th principle we want to talk about, which is the last one for today, is that it is more important to be in love than to be right.
That's true.
I choose love than being right. And because I choose love than being right, sometimes I need to say I am sorry.
Yeah.
Because saying I'm sorry will actually solve the problem of who is right or who is wrong. and make me have that feeling of love.
Yeah.
Really important. And when you focus on, oh, my love life is not working because I'm pushing to prove how right I am, it will help you forget the argument, forget the issue, and find a way to ensure that you and your spouse have wonderful connection and wonderful feeling. And once being in love is in place, being right becomes insignificant.
That's true. Remember that you cannot change the other person. You can only change yourself. You're only in control of what you do. You're not in control of the other person. So I'd say really important that you focus on being in love rather than on being right. Because once that is sorted, then it doesn't really matter who is right or who is wrong.
Yes, because some people in their bid to be right,
Destroy.
they've lost love.
Yeah, they destroy the
They've
love.
lost love forever.
Forever, yeah.
And it's sweet to be in love.
It's amazing.
Yes. So if you want to be in love forever, focus on being in love.
Yeah.
It's good that sometimes you might say, oh, I'm right here. But once being right tries to jeopardize being in love, forget it.
Yeah.
Love wins.
Yeah. Try to, sometimes ego is, or ego, I don't know which one it is, but it kind of plays a fast one on us where it's like, I have to, it's let go. Let go and, just chill. It's about being in love. It's not necessarily about being right.
Yeah, because love forgives.
Yeah.
Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is caring. So if you both are really, really in love, you will deal with the other matters.
Yeah, and let me say
Yes.
that love conquers all.
Yes, love wins everything. So always focus on being in love.
Yes.
You can see, we try to be in love.
We try.
We are in love.
Wow,
All right.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Just sharing with you today. But we also want to encourage you to let us know in the comment section what you think in terms of some of the principles that we have shared, and maybe you've got some that you would love to share. It would be great to pop it on the comment section because we would love to read those, right? And if this is your first time and maybe you got carried away just watching this awesome video and you forgot to hit the subscribe button, now is the time. Kindly hit the subscribe button, okay? And we will see you on the next one. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.